Okay, so we're all talking to AI these days, right? But are we really speaking its language? If you've ever felt like you're just not getting what you want from it, well, there's a skill for that. It's called prompt engineering, and it's what turns you from a casual user into a master communicator with AI.
We've all been there. You ask for something that seems pretty simple, and what you get back is a paragraph of complete nonsense, or maybe a story about something totally unrelated. It is so frustrating. It feels like you're speaking two different languages. But the good news is, you're not alone, and there is a way to fix it.
I mean, just look at the difference a few well-chosen words can make. On one side, a vague prompt like, write about a product, gets you this generic, basically useless response. But on the other, you add a little bit of direction. You give it a persona, a target audience, and bam, you get a targeted, high-quality answer. The real key here isn't that the AI is broken, it's that the quality of our instruction matters a lot.
And that brings us right to our main topic today. This skill is called prompt engineering. Now, don't let the name scare you. This isn't about writing complex code. It's about crafting clear, effective instructions to guide a language model. You should think of it less like you're programming and more like you're a great director, and the AI is your incredibly talented but very literal actor.
So, how do we actually build one of these super effective prompts? Well, it turns out a great prompt isn't just a single question. It's more like a recipe, made from a few key ingredients that you can mix and match to get exactly what you want. And here are those ingredients. You can kind of think of them in two groups. Some of them set the style, like giving the AI a persona, defining the audience, and setting the right tone. The others, they provide the substance, the specific instruction, all the necessary context and data, and of course the format you want it in. Every single one of these is like a lever you can pull to get a better result.
But getting the right content is only half the battle. You can also fine-tune the AI's style. Do you want it to be wildly creative and just brainstorm with you? Or do you need it to be strictly factual and predictable? You actually have control over that too.
This is usually done with a setting called temperature. Just think of it like a creativity dial. If you're brainstorming new ideas, you crank that temperature way up for more random, unexpected thoughts. But if you're writing, say, a formal email, you dial it way, way down to get a focused, predictable output. It's really all about matching the tool to the task at hand.
Okay, we've got the fundamentals down. Now let's build on that. Let's get into some of the more advanced strategies that can help you tackle much more complex problems.
One of the most powerful advanced techniques out there is called in-context learning. And the core idea is just so simple, but it's brilliant. Instead of trying to describe the perfect output with a bunch of words, you just show the AI an example of what you want.
Now, the simplest approach is what's called zero shot. This is probably what you do most of the time. You just give the AI a task hold with 0 examples, and you just hope for the best. It's relying completely on its existing training to figure out what you mean. And hey, sometimes it works great, but it can be a real gamble. But this is where things get much more reliable. With a one-shot prompt, you provide just a single clear example. And that simple act of showing, not just telling, instantly clarifies both the task and the format you want. It's a massive upgrade in precision. And if you take this one step further, you get to few-shot prompting. Here, you give it several examples, making the pattern you're looking for absolutely unmistakable. This is incredibly powerful for those more nuanced tasks, where maybe a single example just doesn't capture all the subtlety you need.
But what if a task is just huge? Too big for one single prompt? Well, you don't have to do it all at once. That's where this really clever technique called chain prompting comes into play. You simply break the problem down into a series of smaller, connected steps.
This is a perfect example. Instead of asking for a whole marketing campaign in one shot, you start small. First, you prompt for a product name. Then, you take that name and you feed it into your next prompt to get a slogan. And finally, you take both the name and the slogan to generate the full sales pitch. Each step just builds on the last, creating a way more coherent and useful result.
All right, now we're getting to the really mind-bending stuff. We've talked about giving instructions, but what if we could get an AI to actually reason its way through a problem? We're talking about moving from just getting simple answers to getting a thoughtful process.
To really get this, we can borrow a neat idea from human psychology. By default, an AI uses System 1 thinking. It's fast, it's intuitive, it's automatic. But for the really complex problems, we want to coax it into System 2 thinking, which is slow, deliberate, and logical. Kind of like how we slow down to really think through a tough problem. So how do you trigger this deeper, more deliberate mode of thinking in an AI? It is almost shockingly simple. You just add this one magical phrase to the end of your prompt. And would you just look at the results? It is night and day. Without the phrase, the AI rushes to an answer, and it gets it wrong. But by adding "let's think step by step," you force the AI to pause. It lays out its reasoning, it actually catches its own mistake, and it arrives at the correct answer. That simple little instruction is a complete game changer.
And this is really just scratching the surface. Researchers are developing even more powerful techniques. Self-consistency, for example, makes the AI solve a problem multiple ways and then take a vote on the best answer. Tree of thought makes it simulate a debate between experts to find the strongest solution. I mean, this field is just evolving incredibly fast.
So, if there's one single thing to take away from all of this, it's this. The quality of your output is a direct reflection of the quality of your input. A lazy prompt gets a lazy answer, but a thoughtful, well-structured prompt can unlock the absolutely incredible potential of these tools.
By understanding these principles, you fundamentally change your relationship with this technology. You're no longer just passively asking questions and hoping for the best. You actually become an active director, guiding the AI with precision to create exactly what you need. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final question. When we craft these complex, multi-step prompts that encourage reasoning and self-correction, are we just finding clever new ways to program a machine? Or are we, in some small way, actually teaching it how to think?